Hey guys, it's Mr. Kelly, and here's our language arts video lesson for April 22nd. Okay, so for today's warm-up, in order to find your true identity, must you find a community where you truly belong? Why or why not? Explain. For me, I would think about what setting or group of people can bring out your true identity. Because I don't think you can actually find your true identity unless you're in a situation or a setting that brings out the best in you. Because if you're not at your best, you're not going to discover your true identity. So that's something I would keep in mind while you work on the warm-up for today. Okay, so before we get to today's story, we have to discuss dynamic characters and static characters. So a dynamic character is a character that experiences an internal and emotional and even a personality change from the start of the story to the end of the story. A static character is a character that does not experience a change and remains the same throughout the story. So we're going to go through a few examples. Okay, so the first example of a dynamic character would be Luke Skywalker. Luke has a life as a farmer, and his situation suddenly changes and does so dramatically. He begins a long and emotional journey to become a Jedi, all while fighting his enemies in the Empire. And during this time, he experiences many emotional and internal changes as well. A static character would be Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is a Jedi that is retired and in hiding and serves as Luke's mentor and teacher. He does not experience any emotional changes, nor does he change at all by the end of the story. So his demeanor and his emotional state of being stays the same throughout for Obi-Wan. He's really just there as a mentor and as a teacher to Luke. He really doesn't experience any highs or lows emotionally compared to Luke, because Luke, he experiences Obi-Wan's death, he learns that Vader is his father, and he learns that he has a sister. I mean, Luke is all over the place emotionally, which makes him a dynamic character, whereas Obi-Wan, he's very flatline. Nothing's really going on. He's doing the same thing constantly, just teaching and being there for Luke. All right, some more examples. And you may notice I changed the font only because so I could fit everything on the one slide. So another dynamic character would be Bruce Wayne / Batman. Bruce experiences an emotional and personal change when his parents are murdered. This event sends him on the journey to become Batman. Even as Batman, he may seem a bit stoic, but he experiences internal and emotional changes through the few relationships he has. This could depend on the source material for Batman, whether you're reading a comic book or a cartoon, an animated version. But I'm thinking of the movies with Christian Bale. In those films, he was close to people. He was close to Alfred. He was close to Gordon. And he had a couple of women that he loved as well. He was close with them. So he did experience a lot of emotional changes in those movies. A static character would be the Joker. The Joker typically does not experience any emotional change. He is evil and wants to cause harm and chaos and always enjoys plotting against Batman. His plans may change, but his emotions and personality do not. Again, similar to Obi-Wan in terms of their static character, they're really the same. They just do the same thing continuously. So Joker, he does evil things, he causes chaos, and he's really just plotting against Batman and being a thorn in his side. His plans may change, the setting may change, but typically he does the same thing, making him a static character. All right. So today's story is Dancer on page 128. This is a different story. Again, we talked about how these stories take us to different settings and different communities, and this is definitely one of them, so I think you'll enjoy this story. So Dancer has dynamic and static characters. Think about the characteristics we just talked about. with examples. Keep those in mind as you meet the characters in the story, and you'll be able to identify the dynamic and static characters. So again, excuse me, just keep in mind what we talked about with the examples of a static character and a dynamic character, and you should be able to identify either in the story pretty easily. Oh, going the wrong way. So after reading, who is the static character and the dynamic character from the story? It should be pretty self-explanatory, guys, once you read the story. What is Clarissa like when she first comes to her new foster family? So in the beginning of the story, the narrator describes pretty clearly what Clarissa was like when she first came to the family. And what do you think the last line of the story means and why? So I did not type it out for you guys, but the last line of the story, so basically Clarissa is at a dance and she's dancing with a well-known dancer named, I believe her name was Molly Graybull. And they're dancing and the narrator says they are the same age as they dance. So what could that mean and why? It could mean that when we're dancing or when we're doing an activity like that, age doesn't matter. It's really about the passion and the joy you share for the activity that really counts. But you guys can interpret that as you will once you read it. Okay, so in closing, make sure that you submit your work by 8 o'clock tonight. If you have any questions, again, please email or comment. I will answer as soon as possible. And don't forget about our live office hours on Zoom. They are from 12:30 to 1 o'clock on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I will be sharing the meeting details with you guys on Google Classroom. All right, guys. Hope everything's going well. Hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.